Ready? Okay. So we're gonna end the review for test number 2 today. So what we're gonna talk today, or what we have left of the test, so review for test number 2. Okay, this is a continuation of Monday and Wednesday. Okay, so we're gonna end lesson 1.6. The last thing that we have to know for this lesson is using the distance formula. This is the last kind of problem that you're going to encounter on your test. Okay, using the distance formula. Okay, let's see what is the distance formula very quick. Okay, this is basically the distance formula that you're going to use. D is equal to the root square. Okay, and we got some parentheses. We got x2, x2, okay, x2, x2 minus x1, and that's going to be to the square. Okay, and we got that. We're going to add parentheses y2 minus y1 to the square also. Okay, so that's the distance formula that we're going to use to do these problems. Okay, so let's start with the first problem, so we can see how do we do this. Okay, so I'm going to write it here. Okay, let's do this problem with the distance formula. Okay, find A and B and C and D. Okay, and then determine if if segment AB is congruent to segment CD. Okay, so that's what we basically will do. Okay, so the coordinates that we have are the following: A has coordinates of 0 and 3. Okay, B has coordinates of 5 and 1. Okay, you're gonna have this on your test like this. Okay, C has coordinates of -1 and 1, and D, the last point that we have, has coordinates of -3 and -4. Okay, so let's do this very quick. So we have that, so we're gonna use this coordinates to find the distance. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so we're gonna start by using the distance formula. Okay, so it's gonna be AB. We're gonna start with that segment. Okay, AB, and we're gonna plug in everything into the formula. Okay, so if we got AB, AB is 0, 3, and 5 and 1. So you know that, let's see this quick. A is 0 and 3. Okay, this is the coordinates that we're working first, and B has coordinates of 5 and 1. Okay, and we know that we have to assign let me okay, x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. Okay, that's always the same. Okay, so let's plug in those coordinates inside the distance formula. So it's gonna be x2 minus x1 will be 5 minus 0. Okay, to start. Okay, 5 minus 0, and that's the square. Okay, and that's gonna be added to the parenthesis of y2. Y2 is 1 and y1 is 3. So it's gonna be 1 minus 3. Hasta aquí, ¿estamos bien? ¿Dudas, preguntas hasta aquí? Okay, so we're gonna continue doing the problem. So it's gonna be, the first parenthesis is gonna be 5 minus 0 is 5, and we got to evaluate that to the square. Okay, and in the other part we got 1 minus 3, that is negative 2. Okay, so negative 2 to the square, we're gonna evaluate now. Okay, dame ver ahí, escribo en el chat rapidito a ver qué pasó. Okay, so we're gonna evaluate this very quick. So 5 to the square is 25, because it's the same as saying 5 times 5, that's 25, okay? And in the other part, we got negative 2 times negative 2, that is positive 4. So in other words, this is gonna give us 29, okay? And we leave it like that, okay? So we got that part done, okay? Any questions about how to do this first part? Okay. So now, students, we're gonna do the same thing, but with the coordinates of CD, okay? Or the segment CD, okay? So let's see it very quick. Okay? So we're gonna work now with coordinate C that has coordinates, or endpoint C that has coordinate of -1 and +1, and D that has coordinates of -3 and -4. So we're gonna plug this on the formula, on the distance formula, like we did like a seconds ago. So this is always x1 and y1, and this is x2 and y2. Okay, so let's do this quick. So we're gonna use the formula. It's gonna be CD, or segment CD, and we're gonna plug this on the formula. So in the first part we got x2 minus x1, that is -3 minus -1. So it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be, students, -3 minus -1, okay, plus y2 minus y1, that is -4 minus 1. And you have to evaluate those to the square, okay? So it's gonna be like this, okay? So now we're gonna solve this, and in the first parenthesis, we got -3 minus -1. So that is the same as saying this is gonna turn to positive, or to addition, and this is gonna change the sign, okay? So -3 plus 1 is -2, okay? ¿Verdad? Tenga cuidado con los signos, mi gente, con los positives and negatives, okay? And in the other side, we got -4 minus -1, or minus -1 is the same. So it's gonna be negative and negative, we're gonna add them. So it's gonna be -5 to the square, okay? So what do you notice? That we're gonna have basically the same answer. -2 to the square is 4, okay? And -5 to the square is 25. So, ¿qué usted nota? ¿Quién me dice? What do you notice from segment AB and segment CD? What do you notice? They had the same distance. So that's what we were looking for, okay? So to end this problem, you're gonna write this, okay? Since, okay, since A, since AB is equal to CD, we can say that segment AB is congruent. This is how you wrote it's a congruent, okay? This is like the symbol that we're gonna use. Segment AB is equal or congruent to segment CD, and we're done, okay? This is what you're gonna do. Any questions about this process, okay? So basically you're gonna use the distance formula to see, or to look for the distance of this segment, okay? Pregunta hasta aquí. si está al día, ¿no? Si tiene algún trabajo atrasado, pues ahí sí. ¿Ok? Esta semana no, esta semana solo es repaso, ¿ok? Valeria. Estamos repasando para el examen. ¿Ok? ¿Estamos? ¿Alguna otra pregunta, duda de este ejercicio o de algo del repaso? ¿Estamos? Dame buscar otro rápido para ir terminando. ¿Alguna duda, pregunta del examen como tal, mi gente? ¿No hay preguntas? Ok, vamos a hacer otro rápido para terminar. Okay. Dame borrar lo que puedo borrar para copiar otro ejercicio y lo hacemos rápido. Recuerda este video. It's going to be available on YouTube later on. We're going to do one more of how to find the distance, okay, using the distance formula. Okay. Okay. So let's copy problem B, and this is all for today when we do this. Okay. Problem B says the following. Give me a second. Okay, let's do this extra. Okay, so we're gonna find EF and JH. Okay, and the same. Then determine if segment EF is congruent. Congruent means it has the same distance measure. It's congruent to segment GH. Okay, let's do this very quick. Okay, so let me give you the coordinates of this segment. So E has coordinates. E has coordinates of +2 and -1. Let me be sure of that. Sorry, +2 and +1. Okay. F has coordinates of let me be sure about this. Five and 5. Okay. J or G has coordinates -2 and -2. Okay. And F has coordinates of and H, sorry. H has coordinates of +3 and 1. Okay. So let's do this quick. Okay. So we're gonna do the same thing. Okay. We're gonna find the distance for EF. Let's start with EF. EF. Okay. So EF, we got the coordinates. E has coordinates of 2 and 1. and F has coordinates of 5 and 5. Okay? So we got this. This is x1, y1, x2, and y2. Okay? So let's plug this on the formula, on the distance formula, very quick. So we got x2 minus x1 will be 5 minus 2 to the square plus y2 minus y1, that will be 5 minus 1 to the square. Okay, so that's the first step. Always you're gonna plug in the coordinates. So we got 5 minus 2 to the square plus 5 minus 1 to the square. Okay, so let's solve this very quick. So in the first part we got, ¿cuánto es 5 menos 2? Alguien que me ayude. Vamos. 5 minus 2 is 3, okay? And that's gonna be to the square, okay? And in the other part, or the other side, what happens? 5 minus 1. 5 minus 1. 4, okay? 4 to the square, okay? ¿Y quién me dice cuánto da 3 to the square and 4 to the square? Rapidito. Exacto. Thank you. And 4 to the square? Excellent. Because it's saying 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 4 is 16, okay? So now we're going to add them. So it's going to be 9 plus 16, and that is 25, okay? So now what do you see? That 25 has, we can evaluate that root square. What's the root square of 25? ¿Quién me dice? 5, excellent. If we can do that, well, you should do it, okay? So it's 5. Okay? In the other problem, 29 doesn't have a perfect root square, okay? Because there's only one form or one way you can get to 29, 1 times 29, okay? But 25, you can get to 25 by multiplying 1 times 25 or 5 times 5, that is 25, okay? So let's do now GH, okay? So what are the coordinates of GH? Who can tell me? Let me change the color. So let's write the coordinates. The coordinates of GH are -2, right? And -2. Okay. And H has coordinates of, who can tell me? Está ahí. Yo escribí 2 veces lo mismo, I'm sorry. H. ¿Cuáles son las coordenadas de H, mi gente? Thank you. Okay. So let's do this quick. It's gonna be, as always, you should do this always. X1, Y1, X2, and Y2. Okay. So let's do the distance formula. Okay. Let's plug in this to look if they are congruent, or maybe they are not. Let's see that. Okay. So x2 minus x1 will be 3 minus -2. Okay. 3 minus -2. Okay. Plus, if this happens, you can write another symbol. Okay. So you don't, let me do this again. So you don't get confused with the signs. You can do this because you got minus negative. So you can do, it's gonna be 3 minus -2. So you don't get confused with the signs. Okay, you can use this other kind like a bracket. Okay, so in the other part we got y minus 2 minus 1, y2 minus 1. So it's gonna be 1. So we can do the brackets. We can use the brackets and get. So it's the same, but so we don't get confused. Okay, so it's gonna be 1 minus -2. Okay, so let's solve this very quick. Okay, and those are gonna be to the square. Okay, okay? Don't forget that. Okay? So in the first part, what we got? ¿Quién me dice? We got 3 minus -2. That's the same, ¿verdad? It's gonna turn to addition, so this signs change. So it's gonna be 5. Okay? Entendemos eso, ¿verdad? Tengan cuidado en el examen, mi gente. Se supone que usted sepa, ¿verdad? Cómo trabajar con negativo y positivo, okay? And what is the answer of the other bracket? 3, okay? Because it turns to addition, and you know that it's gonna be positive then. So, do you notice something about these segments? Okay, so 5 to the square is 25. Okay, and 3 to the square is 9. Okay, so this is going to be 25 plus 9 is 34. Okay, so you notice I can do nothing else. So in this case, are they congruent? Are these segments congruent? No, they are not congruent. So you're gonna write the following. This can happen. Okay, so you're just gonna write that EF segment EF is not congruent. Is not congruent to segment GH. It's not congruent. I'm sorry. To segment. Okay, and that's all. Okay, so you got your answer there. Okay. Any questions about those kind of problems? Duda, pregunta hasta aquí. Okay, so let me stop recording this class.